Found a baby owl on the road. It got hit by a car.
Owls are vulnerable at early stages of life. Occasionally, nestlings and fledglings will fall from the nest too early to defend themselves from predators. Adult owls generally have no natural predators, except American eagles, other great horned owls, and humans.
Hey! Hey! Pull over on this grass here. Hey, what's wrong, man? This is the second owl that we've come across. It's a young great horned owl. They're young and they're clumsy. Found them on the road. We have word from a friend that they had seen an owl sitting on the side of the road a night before, literally sitting on the side of the road like he had just landed on some prey, but then the different thing was that he didn't move.
First thing we did was Google search owl care, and we found out that there were several substitutes for owl food that we could use. But generally what we got from it was that owls eat their food whole, including organs, fur, feathers, and all. So raw ground beef can be used as a substitute, but it's not a diet that will sustain an owl over a long period of time. So after much deliberation, we decided that chicken livers would be the best option.
We stuck some livers and water in a food processor, and then we strained out the liquid from that and fed him that, and he was all about that, and he actually came around. So that was yesterday, and today he's doing really good in comparison.
We also went into this knowing full well that raptor birds' beaks and talons could easily shred us to pieces, and we may well come out of this being the injured ones. So after carefully observing these owls' behavior, we decided the need was great enough that we would take the risk. But raptors are certainly not to be handled lightly. There are many sites online you can go to find out whether the owl really needs help. I was able to find lots of information at internationalowlcenter.org. Not all owls on the ground need help. If it's a young owlet with a fuzzy head and body but has fully grown wing feathers and a stubby tail, it is a fledgling just learning to fly. Spending some time on the ground is a normal part of their life, since it takes them days to weeks to learn how to fly well. Mom and dad are usually nearby taking care of them, whether you see them or not. Owlets at this stage only need help if they are injured or both parents have been killed. If the owlet is in a dangerous location, it can be picked up and moved to a safer location by nudging the back of its legs with a stick to get it to step up, or by using leather gloves. Parents will not reject their young just because they're touched by humans. Fledgling owls can actually climb trees using their feet, beaks, and flapping their wings. They do this especially well when placed near a sloping tree trunk. Any adult owl on the ground that you can walk up to needs help. To safely pick up an owl that needs help, first, find a cardboard box that will be big enough to hold the owl without bending any feathers and tall enough for the owl to stand. Punch air holes in the box and put an old towel or shirt at the bottom of the box. Do not use a wire cage. This can damage the owl's feathers enough to prevent it from being released until it goes through another mold. Slowly approach the owl and toss a towel, blanket, or jacket over it. Watch out for the feet and beak. Press the owl's wings to its body through the blanket. Carefully pick it up and place it in the box. Close the box and either tape it securely shut or interlock the flaps. Close the box securely no matter how little the owl is moving when you find it. What do you do until you get to the rehabilitator? It is very important to minimize stress to the owl, so keep the owl in as quiet a location as possible, away from kids and pets. If you're transporting it in a vehicle, keep the radio off and voices low, and brake and accelerate slowly. If you have to hold on to the owl for a while before you can get it to the wildlife rehabilitator, place the box half on and half off a heating pad set on low. This way the owl can choose if it needs extra warmth. Where do I find a wildlife rehabilitator in my area? Go to the Wildlife Rehabilitation Directory for a listing of wildlife rehabilitators across the United States and around the world. Even if you're unable to transport the owl to the closest rehabilitator, call the rehabilitator anyway. Many rehabilitators have a network of people who will pick up and transport birds for them. Don't wait. By the time you are able to pick up a sick or injured owl, it is already in really bad shape. Don't wait to find a rehabilitator for the owl. The owl needs help as soon as possible. Special training and permits are required to care for sick and injured wildlife in the United States, because such specialized care is required. Other countries may have similar laws. Orphans need to be raised by parents of their own species so they don't imprint on humans. Often fluid therapy and antibiotics are needed. Broken bones need to be set. Don't try to care for the owl on your own, and get it to someone who has the knowledge and the facilities to properly care for it. This is but a fraction of the information I was able to find online.
We named this one Percy. We were on our way to the hospital, the wildlife hospital. He stayed the night with us and drank a little bit of water, a little bit of liver juice.
Hang in there, buddy. I know it's really scary right now, all the bouncing around.
For owls in the Yukon Territory, juvenile survival has dropped from 80% to 20% in 3 years. In response to instability of food supply, great horned owls occasionally fly into man-made objects and may be killed after flying into buildings or cars. They may be tangled in barbed wire or electrocuted by contact with power lines. In a study examining the case of death for 376 owls, 360, or 96%, were human-related. Most deaths were caused intentionally, though directed at other animals such as poisoning, trapping, or shooting. Another study showed the leading causes of death for owls was first collision with cars, then entanglement with wires, then flying into buildings, and finally electrocution. Among 209 banded nestlings, 56 were found shot, 41 trapped, 15 hit by cars, 14 found dead on the highway, and 14 were electrocuted. That leaves only 69 survivors. Secondary poisoning from pest control efforts has been widely reported.
So we just found out today when we called the hospital that the last owl we took they had to take to the vet, and he's rehabilitating now, and they're gonna help him relearn how to catch prey, and then they'll release him again.
Great horned owls are some of the earliest breeding birds in North America. Courtship is from October to December. Mates are chosen from December to January. This species is strictly monogamous. Despite effort to find examples of polygamy in an owl population, no such instances have been found.
Great horned owls, or owls in general, mate for life. So if you find an older owl, it should be released back where it was found so it can go back to its mate or wife or husband. They'll be waiting there for them forever.
Males select a nesting site and bring the female's attention to it by flying over to it and stomping on it. They often take over a nest made by some other large bird. Owls never build their own nests. They may line it with some new feathers, but not much more. There have been some cases where owls have reinforced a structure or reconstructed a nest, but as a rule, owls never build their own nest. Eggs may be laid from as early as late November to early January. The female usually does all the incubation and rarely moves from the nest. The male owl captures food and delivers it to her, with the first nightly food delivery occurring soon after dark. However, there are observed cases of males incubating as well. Brooding is almost continuous until the hatchlings are at least 2 weeks old. Males feed both the female and the young. One famous nest hoard included 18 pounds of food, consisting of a mouse, a young muskrat, 2 eels, 4 catfish, a woodcock, 4 grouse, 1 rabbit, and 11 rats. Young owls weigh around 1.2 ounces on average and can gain over an ounce a day for the first 4 weeks. Gradually, soft downy plumage comes through a cinnamon buff color. First-year birds look similar to adults, but with slightly warmer orange tinge, less developed ear tufts, and a smaller white throat patch. Nestling owls develop mostly in behavior between 2 weeks and 2 months of age. They learn to defend themselves, grasp food, and climb. Young owls move onto nearby branches at 6 weeks and start to fly a week later. However, the young are not usually competent flyers until they are about 10 to 12 weeks old. The age which young leave the nest is dependent on the abundance of food. The offspring have been seen begging for food at 5 months after leaving the nest, and most do not fully leave their parents until right before the parents reproduce again. Young birds may not breed for another year or 2 and are often vagrants until they establish their own territory. Most young birds are out flying by August, but it's always a good time to keep a good lookout on the road ahead. Slow down at night, be aware for injured creatures left on the side of the road. There are many agencies and rescue facilities equipped to help our feathered friends, but together, with awareness, we can lower and even eliminate their need to be rescued. Watch out! There's an owl on the road.